Hello friends. Uh, During this unfortunate time of lockdown, I have decided that I will be posting few lectures. Especially these lectures are meant for students of TY-BAF, Mumbai University. So I will be covering most of the topics. So what we are going to study is, today we are going to study a topic called mutual fund. Now this topic, what I will be doing is that I will be dividing the chapter into two parts. The first part is the concept video. Today I will be doing this concept video which will take around 20 minutes for us, and then we are going to cover the practical sums. So it will help you out in this lockdown period. So let's start with the topic. Now what we are going to study is mutual fund. Now first thing what comes into your mind is, what is a mutual fund? So what happens that there are different kind of investors, and these investors are having different kind of goals. These investors are going to pool in money, they are going to contribute money, and this money will be pooled together. This money will be pooled together. This pooling of money by these investors is nothing but a mutual fund. So what is going to happen here? That these investors are going to pool their money and they are going to develop a fund out of this money, and that fund will be known as mutual fund. Now an asset management company will be appointed, and this asset management company is going to manage the money. So there is the management of the money of the investors by the asset management company. The asset management company is normally a bank, and I will give you an example of an asset management company. You may take it as SBI Mutual Fund, or you might have heard about ICICI Prudential. So all these are nothing but asset management companies. Now this asset management company is going to appoint trustees. Now these trustees are having a job that they have to keep a watch that the asset management company is managing the funds of the investors in a proper manner. What I mean to say is that the Security Exchange Board of India, that is SEBI, the SEBI lays down the rules which the asset management company needs to follow with regards to management of mutual funds. So these trustees are entrusted with the work that they have to make sure that the asset management company is following the guidelines and the rules laid down by the SEBI. So now I'll just summarize it. What is a mutual fund? Different investors having diverse goals are going to pool their money into this fund. This money will be managed by a company which is known as an asset management company. This asset management company is going to appoint trustees. These trustees will make sure that the asset management company invests the money as per the guidelines laid down by SEBI. So we have completed the first part, what is a mutual fund. Now friends, I will be going to the next part. Now you can understand that the asset management company is having the funds. Now the asset management company will use these funds into different investment opportunities. So they are going to invest the funds in stock. This is nothing but shares. They are going to invest the funds in bonds and debentures, which we normally say it is a debt instrument, and some amount of cash the asset management company is going to keep. Now what is the function of the asset management company? the asset management company will first of all purchase the shares, bonds, cash. So now they are going to purchase all these instruments. Normally they are going to purchase it at a lower price, and then they are going to sell it at a higher price. So this purchase and sale transaction is going to happen, and it will be managed by the professionals of the asset management company. Obviously there would be profits. Now another important thing is there, that when the asset management company is going to buy the shares, bonds or debentures, they are also going to receive dividend. And for bonds and debentures, they are going to receive the interest. So the profits, the dividend, the interest, all these things belongs to the investors, since the money is of the investors. So the asset management company is going to give the investors units in return of their investment. These units which are given by the asset management company to the investor are nothing but termed as NAV. So NAV is nothing but a net asset value. You can say that it is nothing but the price of your unit of a mutual fund. Now, up till now you have understood that the asset management company is going to invest your money, and in return the asset management company is going to earn profits, it is going to earn dividends, it is going to earn interest, and in rare cases there might be certain losses also which they might occur. So all these things, out of these profits, normally they are going to deduct their management expenses. So they are going to manage your fund, they are going to hire professionals, they are going to charge for these services, they are going to charge certain amount of management expenses which shall range 1 to 3% of the fund value. Second thing is that the asset management company might also charge you certain amount of commission. So this commission is in legal terms termed as load. So at the time of purchase they are going to charge you a commission, at the time of sale they are going to charge you a commission. So at the time of purchase which they are going to charge you the commission is also called as front load, or it is also called as entry load. And at the time of sale they are going to charge you the commission, so that commission is also called as exit load, and it is also called as back end load. So this all we are going to cover when I will be doing the practicals. After deducting the management expenses and commission, they are going to have again another value which is called the net asset value. Now what happens, students, that this is the net asset value at the beginning of the year, say 100 rupees, and now after 1 year the net asset value has turned out to be 150 rupees. So the difference of 50 rupees is nothing but a gain to the investors. Now this 150 rupees which I am talking right now of the NAV is after deduction of the management expenses and the commission whatsoever they are charging it. This I will be able to explain once we are in the sum. Now I am going to another part. The next question is that what are the features of mutual fund? Why one should invest in mutual fund? Now there are 4 criterias at which you have to think about. One is the risk, the next criteria is returns, the third is the volatility, and the fourth one is the liquidity. So all these are the different criterias So in mutual fund normally you have a lower risk. You will say why? The reason is that every investor is having a goal. Now they are going to make a portfolio in which they are going to invest in debt securities and they are going to invest in equity instruments. Now equity instruments will give you growth since the equity value will fluctuate. The debt instruments are going to give you interest and dividend, and it will give you stability. So there is a dual combination of growth and stability. If an investor is risk averse, more funds would be invested in debt since he doesn't want to take the risk. If the investor is ready to take the risk, then the fund manager is going to invest more in equity instruments, and most probably they invest in a combination of debt and equity, which normally we say it is in hybrid investment where there is a optimum combination of debt and equity. Now for returns, you are going to get returns, and these returns are in the form of interest, are in the form of dividend, are in the form of capital appreciation. All these returns you are going to get. And if the investment is done in a security, I would say it is an equity linked savings scheme, which I will be discussing later, you are also going to have some tax benefits. So it all depends on the goal of the investor, and the investor is going to normally enjoy interest, dividend, capital appreciation. And if the investment is made in an equity linked savings scheme, then the investor will also have some tax benefits under section 80C. Now what do you mean by volatility? Volatility means the movement of share price in the at the stock market. This movement of the share price in the stock market is called volatility. Since the mutual fund is going to be invested in a hybrid manner, that is a few portion in debt instruments, few portion in equity instruments, so this will bring the volatility to a lower level. So this will help you to manage your risk properly. Now the mutual fund is going to invest the money into different securities, which I will be discussing later. Now this is large cap funds, then we have medium cap funds, and then we have small cap funds. So all these large cap, medium cap and small cap funds, so normally they are going to invest a huge portion in large cap funds, that is the companies in the top 100 of the Nifty. And then there are certain companies which will be there in the medium, that is the index would be from 101 to 150, which I will also do some practical part with you. And small cap, so majority of the money they are going to invest in large cap, and less portion would be invested in medium cap, and very less portion would be invested in small cap. Since majority of your investment is done in large cap companies, so your liquidity is high. So all these are the features of mutual fund. Now friends, we are going to move further. Now I'm going to talk about the asset management company. This asset management company is broadly going to divide the money of investors into three parts. One is the equity, and the other one is the debt, and the third one is the combination of two, which is hybrid. In equity, they are going to invest in the equity shares. For debt, they are going to invest in debentures, and they are going to invest in bonds, and they are going to invest in treasury bills, and so on and so forth. And in hybrid, it will all depend on the goal of the investor. So if the investor is willing to take more risk, so maybe 70% they are going to invest in equity and 30% they are going to invest in debt. So it will be a combination of two. Now we are going further. Now I will be discussing to you is the large cap funds, then we are going to do the mid cap funds, and the third one which we are going to do is the small cap funds. Now in large cap funds you will have the top 100 companies. Now the question would arise that, sir, how do I know, or how do we come to know that these are the 100 companies, which I will show you practically. You can go and type Nifty 100 index. When you type Nifty 100 index, you're going to get the top 100 companies. These 100 companies are classified by Nifty, and they are classified on the basis of market capitalization. So I will be coming to what is market capitalization. In other words, the share, the market value of that company is nothing but called market capitalization, which we will be discussing in few minutes now from now. In mid cap you will have 50 companies. If you type Nifty mid cap 150 index on the Google Chrome, you will get the list of the 50 companies along with their market capitalization. And the small cap is nothing but Nifty small cap 250 index. So here you are going to get the details of the small cap companies. So the asset management company is going to invest the funds in the large cap, mid cap and small cap. Now I'm moving further. The asset management company can also invest the money into different sectors. They might invest the money into companies who are in technology sector, or companies who are in agricultural sector, or companies who are in automobile sector, or companies who are in banking business, or companies who are in fast moving consumer goods. So there are various opportunities. They are having professionals, they are going to invest into different sector companies, into large cap, into mid cap, into small cap, and this is how the asset management company is going to function. I am going further. Now I will be talking about ELSS. It is called equity linked saving scheme. This is, in this scheme, normally this scheme was, up till now it was tax free, but the government has made it taxable on the returns above 1 lakh. So it will be prone to long term capital gain tax at the rate of 10%. But you are going to receive the tax benefits under section 80C if your returns are below 1 lakh. So equity linked savings scheme are some equity instruments, or I would say equity shares in large cap companies. So if the investment is done in these equity linked savings scheme, then you are going to receive tax benefit under section 80C, and if the income is more than 1 lakh, then you are prone to get a long-term capital gain tax at the rate of 10%. Now the feature of this scheme is that there is a lock-in period of 3 years, and you are going to get tax benefit under section 80C up to 1 lakh rupees. So this is one scheme which is very popular in mutual funds. Now there are certain mutual funds which are called index funds. Now these index funds are related to our Sensex, that is the Nifty. So when the Sensex is moving up, the fund value is going up, and when the Sensex is coming down, the fund value is going down. So these funds are related to the Sensex movement, so they are called as index funds. Now one more thing I want to discuss with you is that how the investment will be made. Now friends, the investment can be made through two parts. Either you can make a lump sum investment, or either you can make an investment through a plan called systematic investment plan. So the investments in the mutual fund can be done through two ways. One is the lump sum and other is the systematic investment plan. Now this plan is more suitable for salary earners, and this plan is more suitable for investors. I will be going to a site and I will be explaining you what are the goals and how this investment calculator is going to work. So now we are moving to a site and I will be showing you the SBI mutual fund. So SBI mutual fund. Okay, now we are going to enter to this mutual fund. So just hold on, be patient. So I will be telling you about the systematic plan. You can see this is the plan on your investment. Plan your investment, then you can go to a systematic investment planner, that is the SIP plan, which I'm talking right about. Now for example, that you want to have your fund for 7 years and you want say 20 lakh rupees after 7 years, or you maybe for 15 years you are having a time horizon and you want 20 lakh rupees, and the expected rate of return as per this situation I would assume would be around about 13%. So we are going to calculate. So if you are having a time horizon of 15 years and you want 20 lakhs of sum with a compounded interest, average annualized interest of 13%, then you have to invest 3599, that is this much amount you have to invest monthly. So this is how the systematic investment plan is going to work. Now I will be giving you another example, and this example is this example would be, I think this would be for the lump sum plan. So here is the lump sum. Now you want to invest, for example, say you want to invest 5 lakhs. You want to invest 5 lakhs, and this 5 lakhs you want for a time horizon of 15 years, and the expected return again I'm taking it at 13%. So right now what will happen, that if you are investing at a lump sum rate, you are investing 5,000 rupees, you are investing 5 lakh rupees. If you are investing 5 lakh rupees, so if you are investing 5 lakh rupees and the time horizon for your investment, if I think is 15 years, and the expected return is 13%, so how much you are going to get at the end? So after 15 years, if you invest in lump sum 5 lakh, and you are going to get 31 lakhs 27,000 approximately in a time horizon of 15 years, if the mutual fund is performing an average annualized rate of 13%. So I've made the concept clear. We have discussed the net asset value, we have discussed the commission, we have discussed the management expenses. Now I will be going to the practical sums. Thank you.